We are moving down into peace. Shodden feet of the gospel of peace. And if y'all look over, y'all kind of see my man's got his little feet added on to him and all of that. So we're slowly putting this armor together. We're slowly inspecting it and really taking a real good look at it. And it's looking pretty good so far. Ephesians 6 and 15, it says, and having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. This one's so major and critical. I think in every timeline you go down, up and down the Bible, even up to today, it's a major attack. Everything is after our peace because peace is heavily associated with the face of the Lord. We'll get down into that in just a second. Let's start at the top. Go back to the beginning, Genesis 26:28 through 30. It says, they answered, we saw clearly that the Lord was with you. So we said, there ought to be a sworn agreement between us and you. Let us make a treaty to you that you will do us no harm, just as we did not harm you, but always treated you well and sent you away peacefully. And now you are blessed by the Lord. Isaac then made a feast for them, and they ate and they drank. Early the next morning, the men swore an oath to each other. Then Isaac sent them on their way, and they went away peacefully. Now, one thing I want to point out, and I put this in here to kind of have us focus on the interaction of peace, which is a two-way street, going away in peace, but also coming in peace. And sometimes with us, especially living this life, sometimes it so heavily becomes a one-way street because I think we all have heard the arguments when we get into us with each other. We try to do the peace thing, but it don't really go good. Oh, God bless you. No, God bless you. You know, and when you do that, it's really not the peaceful God bless you. It's really somebody trying to act like they're in the Lord at that time and they're gonna remain their peace. So all right, but God bless you, and then that sparks a response from somebody else to where, well, no, I'm the one in God, so no, God bless you. Those actions canceled each other out. And so guess what? None of y'all honestly living in peace. You know what I'm saying? I've been there, I've done it, I've seen it, you know what I'm saying? And you don't. That stuff eat at you because your silence has strength to it. When you're silent, especially when you get alone and you're in the quiet in the sanctity of your mind, things begin to happen and you begin to wonder, should I have said that? And all of that. And those things eat away at your soul. So why put yourself in position to do that? And what the Lord is trying to give us here in peace is sometimes we got to be able to be quiet and sit through some things and not say anything. Because even your words, your very words that you don't necessarily even mean at those times, depending on the state that you're operating on, the spirit you're operating in, those things will be formed against you. And it's going to cause a lot of things not to prosper, which is a lot of the enemy works. A lot of times he don't have to sit up and come up with a grand scheme because a lot of it we so caught up in ourselves and so loose with our tongue, it end up working against you on your own. You just sitting back like, okay, I ain't even have to do much here. Spark, little fire. Let's keep chipping at it. If you can read this next one starting in Deuteronomy.
From the desert of Kedemoth,
Okay.
I sent
Okay.
messengers to Sihon, king of Heshbon, offering peace and saying, let us pass through your country. We will stay on the main road. We will not turn aside to the right or to the left.
Amen. So word is given. And they understand that they're going through some unfamiliar territory, that they are going a place, and with going a place, let's put our word out there. Word is still bond today. And so they're honoring by saying, hey, let us pass through. And in passing through, hey, here's our piece. We're gonna mind our business. We're gonna stay on the main road. We're not gonna turn left or right. But what? We're gonna do exactly what we said. And we find oftentimes that a lot of times we lose our peace with people. And sometimes, we kind of do it ourselves. We'll find excuses to go on the left side of the road or the right side of the road. Or we'll get intrigued by something and go, I know I said I wasn't going to do this, but what's this tent they got over here? And really just doing other things that sets us up to where we're about to lose peace. Go ahead, bro.
I was going to say this. This is just me coming into wisdom. One of the things I've always did, I've always wanted peace. I've learned that peace is never and will never be your surroundings. Peace is the place that you find that yields you from attack. Everything that surrounds you will never be peaceful because there's always going to be something that disturbs the quiet place or the quiet things around you. But I found that peace comes when you're able to mentally put yourself in a place to where you yield yourself from having to attack. Because the enemy wants to disturb us and it uses all of the other things. Because that's the thing, it can't get to us, but it uses all of the things that surround us and surface us to bring us to a place of attack. But in that, that's where we find the place to say, you know what? I just refuse to bring myself to this place that takes me, for one, out of character, and for two, to have to repent for something that I never should have fell into in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just learned as time progressed, because that's the thing, you just, why this bothering me? Why this attacking me? Why this? That's going to always come and that's going to always be, because that's the whole point, to get you to a place to where as you feel like nothing in your life is content and nothing is your life is at a place where it's quiet. But you have to find that.
That's a good word, bro. And you're on point with absolutely 100% of that. And
Mm,
even some of what I heard you saying comes down to the thing we hate to do, bro. And you hit it on the head. We gonna end up landing there, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it because you called it out. Submission, submission to the higher authority, Christ. And understanding that if He's peace, and although we are surrounded all the time, we have to get to the point to where we submit and yield to His spirit and not the other ones around us that's provoking us and doing all those things.
yeah,
And so,
that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
come in, yeah, come in.
Oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to expound on that. Yeah, that is where we have to go when all of those things are happening. When we feeling like nothing is quiet around us, everything is loud, and everything is coming at us. That is where when we do have to get quiet in order for us to enter into that place so that we can hear from God, or we can be in His presence, because that is the only place that we can get peace. We can't get peace from our friends, from our loved ones, from
Right.
from any of that. We only can get peace from the Lord. So I don't know. That's just what I was getting while you were saying that. We
And,
have to enter
and,
into that place, that quiet place, to get that peace from Him.
and think about this real quick. When does God talk to us? God
Come on.
never talks to us in the time of disturbance. He never talks to us in the time of everything being loud. Even you, when you're chaotic, God don't speak to us when we're chaotic, when we're
Hmm.
loud, because He knows we're not listening. It's
Right.
when it comes when we're calm. So
Yeah.
hear what I just said. God doesn't speak when we're not listening. So if everything is surrounding us disturbing, we can't hear God because He knows we're not listening. So the enemy job is to keep everything loud.
Yeah.
Keep everything loud around you so you can't hear. That's why even Jesus, you find him when everything was chaotic, he disappeared, went up
Yes.
into the mountain so that he could hear, have a conversation. He had to separate himself. Even in the midst of, he was in the middle of a crowd with them doing, and he had to, where's he at? Look for him. He up in the
Come on.
mountain.
Come
He
on.
he had to separate himself. Same with we have to separate ourselves from life. I know what I'm saying sounds a little funny, but we literally have to separate ourselves. My yesterday, I couldn't even get up, and it wasn't nothing of me. It was everything else surrounding me, between my phone, the job, people, my kids, my boy. Everything was chaotic yesterday, and I had to sit down and go get my word. to get. That was the only
Yeah.
thing. That was the only thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take up time. Go.
Nah, bro, that's absolutely on point. I appreciate y'all chime. I was wondering when y'all was gonna get up in here because everybody has something. Again, the armor is we're very familiar with it, and I believe we all have our experiences to really chime in on and build on this because we're inspecting. Not that we don't know what it is, not that we don't put on the armor, but now it's inspection time. How is it looking? You know, and do it need refreshing? And we're doing that. We're stitching stuff back up as we're coming together, getting it back, strengthened. I appreciate all y'all feedback. If y'all got more, feel free. I can
Sorry, I
actually
got
see
one
y'all.
more thing, man.
Come on, come
I
on.
forgot to say that. I got one more thing. I'm sorry, I'm quiet after this. What does your body look like when the armor got beat up? Because see, an armor bearer is the one that removes the armor from the king after he's been to war, and he's the one that takes it to the blacksmith that would have to beat out the dent from all the blows and polish the armor. But those dents on the armor, they hit the flesh.
Hmm.
So the flesh also, not only while the armor is getting repaired, but the flesh needs time to heal from those wounds as well. Because even though it struck the armor took most of the blow, but the flesh felt something from it.
Come on.
So where are you when your armor is being repaired with your flesh?
Mm-mm.
Are you healing or are you moving around without your armor? I'm done with it. Let me.
Come on.
That's good right there. That's good.
Killing it. Killing
That's
it.
good. That's
Oh
good.
my gosh. Gonna let that sink in for just a second. That's one of those internal questions we all have to, let that sink in. That's very good, bro. Let's pick back up on number 6 and 26. That's good.
All right. The Lord will turn his face towards you and give you peace.
Key thing: the Lord will turn His face towards you and give you peace. We're getting again another key here that the face of the Lord turns towards those who are associated with that peace. As bro just said, the Lord talks, so He don't talk to us and turn His face toward us when we're all in our feelings and stuff. But you want Him to turn His head, find that solitude. Get into that place, that secret place that He talks about. Go there. You'll begin to really see and hear some stuff from Him. Let's continue. Psalms 4:4-8. Just go through that whole thing.
Tremble and do not sin. When you are on your beds, search your heart and be silent. Offer the sacrifices of the righteous and trust in the Lord. Many, Lord, are asking, who will bring us prosperity? Let the light of your face shine on us. Fill my heart with joy when their grain and new wine abound. In peace I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety.
So we're looking at some key things that we're going to see kind of over and over again in this pattern when we're looking at the armor. We say tremble and do not sin, or fear the Lord is a better way of putting it, and do not sin. It talks about your heart and being silent. There's that word righteous again, and trust. We're looking at all of this work together. Who will bring us prosperity? No, we're not talking about the prosperity of the world. We're talking about spiritual prosperity, all the things that He is calling us to be in regards to putting Him on. Again, another key indicator, confirming, let the light of your face shine on us. The light of your face associated with Him again, turning His face towards you, where in peace. And in peace, I will lie down and sleep. And even unto remember Stephen. Remember when Stephen was getting stoned and he was about to get up out of here. A peace came over him. How do we understand that a peace came over him? Because he saw the face of the Lord sitting at the right hand of the throne. Comfort. He was put in that place. He didn't get angry because how do we know he wasn't angry? Lord, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Stephen went out in peace. And such a peace that the Lord gave him what? The peace laying, not only laying down and asleep and all of that, but even unto death. And they couldn't understand that back then. How are we martyring these guys? And it became attractive to those on the outside watching. Why are they at such peace and we killing them? Lord is good. That closed out that one. Do anybody have anything before we get into this next one? All right, continuing on peace, Philippians 4 through 7. It says, rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. That's the first thing. Said it twice. That's important. Rejoice. It says, let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by what? By prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Jesus Christ. So, in that order, the Lord is giving us major download on the process. You want the peace of the Lord? First, let's do this. Let's not grumble and complain about our circumstance. The Lord don't want anybody doing anything for him, especially if you're supposed to be a willful servant and you're grumbling. So what's the first thing we need to correct? Get that out your mouth. Fix your posture. Rejoice. Enter his courts with what? Thanksgiving. That's how we begin to enter into his presence. Rejoice, rejoice. And then now that we've done that, the posture, let it be evident in your posture. And now the Lord is near. He's turning his face. Don't be anxious. That's a command. Do not be anxious. So anything that has you feeling, you have to get in that. You got to get in the vein. When you're really trying to seek the Father and all of that, you have to get to the place to where you have to begin to rebuke a lot of these things, a lot of these thoughts, command them out. Just as this is commanded, don't be anxious. We have to begin to use the word as Christ did when he was tempted. He didn't sit there and just play with like, nah, I don't know. Like should I turn these stones into bread? Like he didn't do none of that. He used the word and he used it with authority. And so we're doing that and we're applying it to what? Every situation. And by prayer and petition and with thanksgiving, as we present these things to God, he gives what? Peace. It says, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Jesus Christ. Proverbs 15:3. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good. So his eyes are always searching at all times. All these things, good and evil. Just put a pin in that. Second Chronicles 16:9. For the eyes of the Lord roam to and fro all over the earth, to show himself strong on behalf of those whose heart are fully devoted to him. So those who he are looking for, and when they get that peace, he shows himself strong to them. So we look at the association or the attribute or blessing of the characteristic of strength that's associated with peace, which normally you ever hear somebody go, oh, they're one of them strong, quiet type, because of the strength that comes with the lack of words. Where you're lacking out here, you have more control over your tongue and the things that comes out of your mouth. So even when it may get a little chaotic up in here, you have a stronger ability through Christ for that word to come in and really get that together up here so that you carefully monitor what's spoken in the realm of the earth, first by the spirit, which comes from in here. And so if we are in that quiet place that we were talking about, we have better control and we're doing all these things, rejoicing and all of that. It gives us better control over this loose tongue of ours. It says in Psalms 29:10-11, the Lord sits enthroned over the flood. The Lord is enthroned as king forever. The Lord gives strength to his people. The Lord blesses his people with peace. Again, just connecting, showing the connection with the strength of the Lord and how the peace is heavily associated with. Psalms 34:12-16. Whoever of you loves life and desires to see many good days, keep your tongue from evil and your lips from telling lies. We just talked about that. Turn from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. The eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are attentive to their cry. And so we've already kind of went over the qualifiers of righteousness and all that. And if we have that in Christ and we have that foundation that's unshaken, and we stand on that, we use this and apply this daily and mean it, and we're faithful. He has to deliver because he's God. He doesn't lie about his word. You will get peace. It says, but the face of the Lord is against those who do evil, to blot out their name from earth, which is again a form of rejection. Anybody who does evil rejects the Lord. And if you reject the Lord, he's going to do what? Blot out your name. Your name won't even be found in the book of life. Psalms 37:11. But the meek will inherit the land and enjoy peace and prosperity. Let's talk about meekness for a second. Meek is quiet, gentle, and easily imposed on, submissive. These are all words where over West, especially over West, we don't like to be any of those things. We like to be loud. We want to be heard, especially with the social movement. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody got stuff to say. We don't want to submit because we think that submit means that people won, all those kind of things. And it's nothing of that. As believers, when we talk about submit, we are submitting to the authority of Christ. And so it looks different than submitting to uh, Terry Jacobs down the street. It doesn't matter if you and Terry Jacobs, are having a conversation. Then Terry Jacobs want to get loud and all that kind of stuff. If you stay in peace and stay submissive, not to Terry Jacobs, but to the Spirit of God, that's what wins the battle. So although Terry Jacobs can have the last say so, you're at peace because you submitted to the higher authority. And when you walk away from there, blessings follow you. But then they also get to see a piece of themselves sometimes. For those who actually have the heart of the Lord inside of them, they'll reflect and they'll feel bad. And sometimes they'll come back and apologize and go, you know what? I'm sorry, I didn't handle this right. And then you've already forgiven them. Oh, you know what? I sometimes when you really mean it, you don't even remember it. Isaiah 9:6-7, it says, for to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of what? Prince of Peace. So if the face of Walmart and all that kind of stuff is Sam Walton, I think is his name, and all that kind of stuff, he's letting us know that the face of his government is peace. It's the Prince of Peace. So we are to be in peace just as he was, to be able to stand on that peace. And through that, watching all of the promises and all the things that comes from the peace, watching ourselves be filled with that. And as we talked about, even when the surroundings, when things are surrounding us and it's always going to surround us, is not peaceful, we can't act out or reflect the things around us. So we have to do what? If you can't leave, get quiet. If you can leave, as Christ did, go. But you can't stay around stuff that's going to contaminate you. It says, of the greatness of his government and peace, there will be no end. Isaiah 26:3. You will keep in perfect peace those whose mind are steadfast because they trust you. Remember, the foundation, it can't crack. If you allow your foundation to crack, it's a wrap. What's the foundation? Belief, which is free will. We have the free will to believe the truth or not believe the truth. But as believers, we do what? We stand on that. And that belief evolves into what? Trust. We always have to trust. John 14:27. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. And so, for those who are looking for validation, even as Jesus, as this physical king who was going to bring upon this earthly peace and all that kind of stuff, he's talking a whole different thing here. He's not speaking earthly lingo, he's speaking spiritual attributes that we have access to by the kingdom of the spirit to bring down here to reflect, to show that there's a greater kingdom, greater than what's here, and that's corrupt. But by that, other people see the peace of his land again. some of the face of his government that's shown through us, who wear what? The garments of Christ.